So for the final part of tonight's class, we discuss, so what's the right amount of effort? We discussed what's too much. We discussed what's too little. What are we supposed to be doing? Okay, so that was really, really special. And I was just bringing that in because I don't want to confuse people. We're supposed to celebrate miracles. We do. Miracles are great. We all want miracles. I want miracles all day long. I'm always asking God for miracles. We want miracles. We celebrate miracles. We publicize miracles. We just shared. We had Chavas and Rivkas and Nuchas and Rachels, all beautiful, beautiful things. And it was wonderful sharing, and it's inspiring, and it's bringing Mashiach. Because as we share the miracles, we're all a little more thinking about reflecting on God in our own life and seeing maybe God's hands in ways we didn't realize before and feeling God's love. And that makes us more God-centered people and more people that are serving God and walking closer to God. This is the road to redemption. This is what it says in the Talmud, sharing the miracles. So this is really, really important. At the same time, God is saying, I want to do it covertly. I don't want to have to split the sea. If I have to, I can. I'm very capable. If there's no choice, I'll defy nature. But if there's a choice, I'd rather do the choice. And again, sometimes what happens is you make all your efforts and then God comes from a totally different angle. You're trying to help someone get married and you work so hard, find this person, find this person, find this person from a totally different angle. Suddenly a person pops on the scene. Were all your efforts a waste of time? Not at all. You were doing your part. You were making efforts. Good. Check on your chart. You did your efforts. That God's going to figure it out differently? No problem. He doesn't usually listen to our script anyway. He can do it totally differently. But it was good that you did those efforts because God wants you to try. And God then can choose whatever he wants to do. So if a person is in a situation where there is nothing to do, there's nothing left to do, nothing, zilch, zero on the physical plane, nothing you can do. Talking about inspiring children, nothing left to do. You tried everything, you did everything you could to reach your children or your grandchildren, zero interest. Okay, so nothing to do physically, do it all spiritually. Trust and add in mitzvahs, add in prayer, add in charity, add in psalms, improve your Shabbos, improve your kosher, improve your modesty, no problem. If there's nothing left to do, God doesn't have any complaints if you're not doing it. There's a health situation, the doctor said there's nothing to do about it. Fine. So then don't do anything. Don't worry that there's nothing to do on the physical plane. There's nothing to do. Just work on the spiritual plane, trust God, and he will make them. Not that he won't. If there's something to do, he'd like you to do something, to give him a means to appear somewhat natural. There's nothing to do. You're off though. Just trust and spiritually add, trust and spiritually add, trust and spiritually add, and God will be very gracious and very glad to make your miracles for you. So we said that we're speaking about what's too much physical efforts, what's too little physical effort. We said too much physical efforts is over prioritizing, is believing that's what's creating the salvation, is putting them ahead of the spiritual. If there's a conflict between the physical and the spiritual, doing the physical instead of the spiritual. That's all too much. Too little is not doing anything if you have the ability to. What's the perfect amount? So I said too much and too little is much easier to understand. Perfect amount. So the sages say, if someone says, I didn't try and I succeeded, don't believe him. Actually, the whole phrase is, if someone says, I didn't try and I succeeded, don't believe him. If someone says, I tried and I didn't succeed, don't believe him. Actually, I flipped it. First it says, if someone says, I tried and I didn't succeed, don't believe him. Someone says, I didn't try and I succeeded. Don't believe him. Someone says, I tried and I succeeded. Believe him. It's interesting because the Lubavitcher Rebbe selected 12 Torah passages from the entire everything, all of Torah, all of the writings, all of Tanya, all of the Talmud. He got a lot to choose from. He kept 4 from Torah, 4 from the Talmud, 4 from Tanya. And this is one of the 4 phrases that the Lubavitcher Rebbe picked from Talmud. From the whole Talmud, he said, this is one of the 4 key phrases that every Jew from the smallest child needs to know. Yes, we need effort, but no, it can't be that your efforts don't produce. If you truly try, you will succeed. If you truly try, you will succeed. And this is something, again, you could say, well, that doesn't sound so spiritual. I think there'd be something more foundational. The Lubavitcher Rebbe is saying this is foundational. It's a foundational perspective on life. It's a foundational work ethic. It's a foundational value system. The value system of, I tried and I didn't succeed. Don't believe that. I didn't try and I succeeded. Don't believe that. I tried and I succeeded. That's a Jewish work ethic. That's a Jewish value. That's a Jewish perspective on life. And it's very often, sometimes I see I'm working so hard and it's not going anywhere. And I say, it's got to. It's got to. Because this is how God set up his world. If we try, we will succeed. And if we don't try, we won't. And if we think we can succeed without effort, that's not true either. And very often I can see myself, I'm trying. And then from a totally different direction, it happens. That's called trying and then succeeding, because we put forth our efforts and then God responds. Like I'm saying, you call matchmaker after matchmaker after matchmaker, and then suddenly someone reaches out to you with this great match. So all my effort was a waste? No, it was required effort, the required effort I needed to put out for the success. So we said before, yes.
For interrupting.
No. Thank you for interrupting me.
When you say effort, does it mean spiritual?
No, I'm talking about physical effort. Physical effort. In other words, spiritual efforts, we know we need to have. Spiritual efforts, we must have to create things from God. Trust and spiritual efforts are A1. We're talking here on the physical plane, a physical effort. Like I'm saying, if someone's looking to find their mate, networking, speaking to matchmakers, that's physical efforts. They're praying, they're adding in charity, they're adding in psalms, they're improving their modesty, they're learning extra Torah. That's all their spiritual efforts. That you need to do a lot of. We're talking about physical efforts. So you're trying to sell your house. You have to put it on the market. You have to maybe get an agent. That's a physical effort. Is a physical effort going to create it? No, but you have to do physical effort as well. So it's almost like there's two different messages here, because before we said physical effort just has to be minimal. It just has to be to give God a veneer that he's not breaking nature, right? We said put it on the bottom of the totem pole. Trust, add spiritually, and then in a very, very distant third, do something physical so God doesn't have to break nature. God doesn't want to break nature. And now we're saying God wants you to work in the natural plane. You work hard, you will succeed. You will not work hard, you will not succeed. You said I worked hard and didn't succeed? Impossible. You said I didn't work hard and succeed? Impossible. You have to work hard to succeed. That's what happens. So how do we reconcile this concept of the Talmud, which Lubavitcher Rebbe is saying is one of the four most foundational concepts in the entire Talmud, which is volumes and volumes and volumes and volumes and volumes and pages and pages and pages and pages. This is one of the most foundational concepts in the entire Talmud, which implies you have to work hard, with this concept of work hard spiritually, trust. Put a lot of hard work in trusting. Put a lot of hard work in adding your spiritual efforts. This is also do things on the physical realm so God doesn't have to break nature so obvious. So I think the way to reconcile this, meaning again, we want that perfect amount. We know what's too much effort. We know what's too little effort. What's the right amount of physical exertion to create our miracle beyond the trust and beyond the enormous spiritual effort? Maybe the bar could be, if you were not worried, if you were not stressed over this, how much effort would you expect? Meaning, for example, if it was concern medical issue, what would you do? If you would say, well, I'd call a doctor, get an appointment available, worried about it, it's just something I have to take care of. So if it was a concerning medical issue, that's exactly what you should do. If your daughter was the most eligible girl on the block, what would you do to get her engaged? That's what you should do. You could say, no, but my daughter's getting older. She's not the most eligible girl on the block. Do the exact same thing. If you were looking for a job stress-free, you don't need the money, you're confident in your degrees, you're confident in your experience, whatever you would do, that's what you should do if you feel such pressure that you needed this job yesterday. But one person would say, well, if I had no stress over a job and I wanted one stress-free, I would send out a resume once a week. And someone else would say, if I had no stress and pressure over a job and I wanted one, I would send out a resume every day. Fine. So for this person, sending out once a week is exactly what they should keep doing, even though now they're pressured. And for this person, sending out once a day is exactly what she should be doing, even though now she's pressured and wants to send out 10 times a day. So it's not like a specific amount. This person says, I would call matchmaker once a week. I would call matchmaker once a month if I wasn't worried. I would call matchmaker once every 3 months if I wasn't worried. So it's not how much you're doing, it's what's your norm. Because for each one of us, we're different. But whatever that norm is, what you would do if you had no pressures, no stresses, you're just doing what one needs to do. That's what you have to, that's what you should be doing and not more when you suddenly feel like the pressure, the need, the situation's getting, no, the situation's the same. It's in God's very capable hands. And I'm giving him all my trust. And I'm giving him all my service. And I'm giving him all my charity. I'm giving him all my psalms. and I'm improving my Shabbos, I'm improving my modesty, and I'm improving my kosher. I'm giving him the real good. This is just because he wants effort on my part, some effort, because he doesn't want to have to break nature unnecessarily. So I'm doing whatever I would do if I wasn't stressed, because I'm not supposed to be stressed. Now, if a person says, no, I can't handle that. I got to call the matchmakers 3 times a day. Okay, do it. I got to find 5 extra opinions from 5 other doctors. It's okay. Do it. It's fine. God understands. We're human. If you need to, do it. But understand it's not necessary. So if you're feeling stressed and nervous because you can't do more in the physical realm because God doesn't want you to, it's okay. You could do more. But try not to believe in them. As long as you don't believe in it, it's not counterproductive. Once you start believing in them, it actually becomes counter. And that's that very fine line we have to walk. Now you could say, well, if you don't believe in it, why would you do it anyway? But sometimes people want to feel they're doing something. It makes you feel better when you're doing something. It's okay. It makes you feel better if you're doing something, do. But work on reminding yourself again and again and again, this that I'm doing is not creating my salvation. But I do because it's good for my nerves for me to do. And the overarching trust is exactly that, your nerves. Are you stressed? Are you pressured? Or are you calm and trusting? Even if you're doing very, very little, but with a lot of stress and pressure and belief that through this will come the salvation, will come the cure, it's not going to work. It has to be from this place of calmness, trust. I'm doing because God wants me to do a little. I'm doing because the sages say I have to make effort. I'm doing because I feel better when I do things I want to do, but I'm doing it without belief in it at all. My belief is in God. And I'm making for lots and lots of different vehicles for him to work his miracles. Just like I'm looking at Rivka now, she's on my screen, so I'm thinking of the story she just said to us, which I was a part of and I do remember, and it was very powerful. She had everything worked out, and God literally put her to sleep, and her husband, because he had a better idea worked out. So we do our things and we think we're working it all out, and God said, if it makes you feel good, no problem. Thank you for giving me many options in nature, but in the end, I'm going to do what's best. I don't really need your help. I'm just telling you to do it, to work, to be in the, to keep things in the natural realm. And then I get to do exactly what I want. And it's really, really a very, very, very delicate balance between knowing God wants some physical vehicle and knowing it's not supposed to be intense or ever conflict with Judaism. And knowing we're supposed to have effort, but our effort for God is where it really is supposed to go. That's the delicate balance that we are trying to achieve, to really, really do it exactly God's way. So we should all have a lot of success doing it exactly God's way, because we all have things that we are trusting we're creating, and God's definitely coming through. And definitely as we walk his road with trust, with adding in the spiritual arena, and with doing in the physical, enough to say we did, but don't worry about it too much. God should use what we created, or would ignore what we created and do it his own way. And we should all have all that joy from on all levels, all of the salvation of God in the very big things and in all the little details. I'm saying it blows my mind how I see God working so hard for these little details, but for God, nothing for him. It's important to us. It's important to him as well. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for adding to the class. And we shall have a wonderful week and have lots and lots and lots of great things to share with everyone of all the miracles that God's doing, and be so excited and share our time with others and help bring Mashiach that way as well. Because we're going to have so many things, just can't even say like so much going on, and we'll have to say, oh, let me share with you my most recent miracle, because there's so many of them. You're just going to share the most recent one. We should all see that. Thank you so much for joining.